seemed like you guys responded to cabin fever. So when it comes to the shadow dasher footage, Allie, that ain't nothing but a hoe. I don't think it was a tweaker.
It's not shaped like a shoe, shaped like a foot.
So this is an agate.
This is an apple tree.
And then we're going to talk a little bit about OSD.
And so the gifting has possibly begun, Allie.
Yeah.
And what a marker behind you to kind of point out the significance of where you found it. So tell people a little bit about what you have in your hand.
So this is an agate, and we found it just along the road here a couple of days ago after we got back from the Galactic Fest. And before we left Galactic Fest, we were doing our typical walks up to our little gifting station slash food stump up there, and noticed these 3 logs that have been moved into the shape of like nearly a perfect arrow.
It doesn't get more obvious than that. I think we found that about a week ago. We asked around, we asked Dick.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have any excuse for why it's shaped like that.
He doesn't recall it being like that.
Yeah, and you brought up the...
This looks like maybe where one of them used to be.
Right.
I actually thought I remembered them being kind of stacked up against this. So either way, the impression, I mean, that shows that one of them at least was once there and now is down here. We would have noticed that before.
And the agate was found in the general area. We don't know exactly where, because I kind of saw it when you picked it up. Show it in the light a little bit if you can. Like, it's a really...
Which way's the sun? There.
You just don't find agates like this laying around.
No, and I've cleaned it off, but you could tell it had been like just freshly pulled out of the dirt. And we were looking all around for like an empty hole in the ground where maybe it got kicked up or something, and we didn't see it on our way up. It's when we came back down that we found it.
Maybe this is a gift from Bigfoot, we don't know, but it's definitely right in line for what Daryl and I would find with carnelian stones. Everything as cool as an arrow pointing to it, but a little bit of debunking to talk about when it comes to our episode shot at the Quinault Lodge and Lake regarding the mystery lights. Now we asked a bunch of people.
Yeah, like 8 different locals, a lot of them working inside the lodge. It was like, how have you never seen that before?
And we had the footage. So not only did we explain what happened the next day, we showed over breakfast. There was at least 3 locals that I talked to. Incredible Bigfoot stuff that we'll talk about later. But they had no idea what that video showed until... the general manager slash like event coordinator. He saw our episode and he goes, "Oh, that's the big like billboard lights for the high school." Right. We're like, "Oh, awesome." We got all excited for nothing. So, but they were mysterious looking. I mean, at one point
wild.
It looked like it shot vertically, like a beam.
Yeah.
A couple of you have made comments on our episode and brought that up. So now we have at least 3 people confirming the high school. So we want to go back though. There's a guest that we want to talk to or hang out with, and by the name of Harvest Moon. And stay tuned for maybe more surprises when it comes to Quinault Lodge.
We wanted to kind of give like an update for Cabin Fever, just because things are constantly happening. We have audio almost every night. We've captured more of those screamers. We also have had what we're calling the runner, which we shared in our presentation at Galactic Fest. That was the first kind of public moment that we shared that audio. So we want to share that and talk about some things that we didn't cover the first episode, because once we were done, we were like, oh my gosh, we forgot to mention this thing and this thing. So we figured you did an awesome job making like a little hangout kind of camp site up here for us to sit and listen at night. And we also have stabilized and like enhanced footage of the Shadow Dasher. That's kind of what we're calling it. So we're gonna share that too, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the best I could do. This is kind of like our hangout area.
Yeah.
We haven't done a whole lot back here overnight, but it's coming. So any changes here, I haven't noted any.
I left this here last night because we're kind of trying to explain our Bluff Creek episode where we heard this strange metallic popping sound. Sounds a little bit like that, where a rock is either being thrown or taken and being smacked with that. So throwback to Bluff Creek.
So this is where we have things kind of set up for whatever is coming in here and hanging out. Like we haven't stayed the night back here, really. But the plan is to maybe put a little fire pit in here, hang out here, put some cots. We could drive up here, no problem. But this is the mystery here. And so what you have is a dog bowl, better than a cooking bowl, cheaper. And see that?
Oh yeah.
Actually gives you a pretty good way to look for fingerprints. So old school style, apples are missing here. I think there is 6 apples altogether. So one's missing here and one's missing here. And we can't get anything to show up on camera when things go missing. We can't get any animals to show up, like regardless, apples or not. Something's moving by here. But like the apple that's missing is the one from this angle. And the middle one. So before it was a row of apples and they all went missing. Let's show them the other area. Because the Shadow Dasher was right there.
Yeah, right down that trail. Did these get moved?
I don't think so. I mean, I think they were pushed together like that. I usually take photos, but I think I got in a hurry and didn't take a photo. There's some peanut butter. Look like it hasn't been touched. It's just, I think this is called a fish weir. So like an old basket usually has a lid on it. You put fish in it when you're fly fishing. So not a lot of changes. Still a 6 and a 6. Kind of looks like a redneck throne.
So the plan is to come back after dark, kind of just sit and listen, see if anything happens while we tell you guys things we didn't include in the first Cabin Fever episode and any updates that we have, new sounds. And then we're going to talk a little bit about OSD.
Just do a night sit with us, go over the list of what's going on with Olympic Strange Days coming October, tickets on sale Valentine's. Seemed like you guys responded to Cabin Fever, and since we had stuff happen afterwards and stuff that we forgot to include, like a skull crammed on top of a tree that I've forgotten about,
Yeah,
we'll
you
just
and Rich found.
go over some of these other notable things.
There's stuff we missed, and then it's constantly, we're getting new things happening, so figured we'd update you as we go.
All right, we'll see you tonight. Allie, that ain't nothing but a hoe.
Just me and my hoe.
All right, night ops outside of what's known as the Cabin Fever barn or shed or workstation. And it's in here where last time we were in here, we did some tests in here. Things that we would do down in Oregon, we now do in Washington. This is one of those things. So we have some footage we can show you of how this may work. And basically, you go inside the barn or the door, the garage, you close it and you isolate an individual, and then you listen through a recorder, just like we do in our house, for a call and response. So it's a little bit like the Estes method, but you're basically isolating people's vision in the dark, and you're not closing their eyes and ears off from anything. It's just what's going on inside. And it worked down in Oregon. I don't have that footage to show anybody, but did we get anything when we were in there with your mom did it, you did it, I did it? We didn't hear anything.
We caught, like, there was like a high-pitched, I guess we call it an EVP, because on the audio recorder inside. We didn't hear with our own ears, but we ended up capturing like a high-pitched, maybe little girl sound, or I don't know, it just sounded like a weird high-pitched synthesize-y voice. And then when we would leave the recorder overnight after the experiments, we captured some interesting stuff. There's like empty oil drums in there. We captured like drumming on one of those. Something that sounds like piano keys, and there's nothing inside of this. There's a radio that is always playing country music. It definitely wasn't that.
Yeah, the drumming sound in particular is familiar to what happened in Oregon, and that was also an oil drum syncopated beat that seemed to be a call and response to a question. I don't know that there's an oil drum in there.
Well, it was like some kind of empty can sound,
Yeah,
you know?
very, very familiar. So, yeah, the piano keys, we checked with Dick, who is in this outbuilding quite often. And so he said there's no piano. I mean, you'd be able to see if there's a friggin' piano in there. Yeah, so this is part of the tour.
And then there's one other thing that I wanted to show them, which is down on the road. And this consists of like, I think one of the very first times you asked me to go on like a night walk with you down like farther away from the cabin, and I was already kind of nervous because we were having activity, we'd hear things walking, we'd even just sit, there's actually like a little open, you know, pull-in area right to our left here, and we would sit in our camp chairs down here. And do you remember when we would hear like stick branch breaks from like bipedal walking footsteps from different directions? Do you remember hearing those down here? So I already knew that there was stuff going on, and I was like
On edge.
yeah.
Plus,
And
is this different than the cougar chirp?
it's that same night.
Yeah.
So I want to go like show people where we heard that cougar chirp. The reason that we walked that direction is because we were hearing distant bipedal walking on that property across the street, where there's like that clear cut area that meets the creek.
Right.
That's where we were hearing, and then we heard the chirp. Anyways, let's go walk down there and see if we hear anything.
Okay, we're here. This I can actually hear the creek bed.
Yeah.
So
this is the spot where, yeah, we came down to do like a night walk, and yeah, there's a creek running through underneath the road here, so it's also on the other side, and we're stopping here listening, and straight off in that direction into the wood line on the other side of the creek, there's something back there walking, very heavy footsteps, like crunching with every step, and I think it was moving away from us. But as soon as we took like steps forward closer in here, you did, I think. You took steps forward to get closer and listen more. I was standing closer to the road with, I think, Valerie, the cat, was with us. And behind us, I hear the loudest just like pop snap of a branch. And I instantly like read it in my mind as like, hey, we know you're honed in on that one over there, just letting you know, like, I'm right here behind you. And it just creeped me out. And so then I was on edge, and I was like, okay, can we go? Because we didn't have the FLIR on us, and we were also hearing chirping, cougar chirping.
yeah,
And it wasn't, it
right
was
up
coming
in the trees.
Yeah, it was up in the trees. And I was like, okay, let's go to the chicken coop and show them, because in the last video, we were joking around and saying like, be super cool if you guys dunk, 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 hit these tin cans.
Yeah.
And we have something to show them about those. That's our hidden bell that we've yet to hear, but they did, we think, answer to our request of hitting these, and we left out this rock, and we're like, hey. They all kind of make different noises and stuff, right? Depending. We're going to play you a sound that we think sounds like something hitting these. This is also pre-chime. This was an addition that Dick brought up here, which the only way we can really count it out is if there's absolutely zero wind and it sounds like something is, you know, playing with it.
Well, and the thing is, we're trying to give the opportunity of whatever's here, let's say it's Bigfoot, to communicate in a playful way, and us to know that there's only one other way that this could happen is mimicry, and these are very distinct notes. C major, A minor. I don't know, but that was the idea, and we heard it. Now explain what happened with the FLIR.
Oh, this was crazy. It happened down there on the road. I can't remember if it was the same night that we had the cougar chirping stuff happen. It wasn't, because we didn't have a FLIR with us at all. That's why we were creeped out, because we couldn't tell where the cougar was. So it was a different night. Anyways, what happened was we walked down to the road again, this time with the FLIR, and the one that Brett gave us, that he has a whole setup with a monitor display. And we're just learning how to use it, and we're like, oh, is this a touchscreen monitor? And we're pressing it, nothing happens. And the way you work it is off of like this older cell phone that has the app you run it through. And that's in your pocket, it's off. It's not like an open on screen that can be messed with. It was a locked screen. And right when I say, do you think you can zoom in? Have you tried like doing this little expanding with the fingertips like you would on
an iPhone,
a phone? And as soon as you put your fingers up to try and zoom, that sucker just zooms in, like it glitches and zooms in itself and then zooms back out. And then we're like, wait a second. And we try it again. It was like a total fluke moment where it zoomed itself in right as we were saying like, oh, does this thing zoom in? It's like, how do you explain that type of weirdness? And I'm sure not everybody's on board with that, but in the moment, it was weird. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, well, we were caught off guard by it for sure.
For sure.
Should we show them the biosensors, also known as the chickens? They would get hounded by something coming up to them, but it's electrified. And so all around the edges here, you can't really, I mean, you could get in here.
You can see something's been trying to dig a hole and get in underneath.
Did not see that.
Yeah.
There is a way to get in. I don't think any of the eggs are being taken, but I've definitely seen and heard of this before, of chickens getting killed or taken and then the door relatched. Okay.
It's okay.
And then down here is where you saw something run.
Yeah.
And I heard it take off.
So, yeah.
This is different than the running footage we're going to play for them.
Yeah, I totally forgot about this. But see, like, I don't know how we forget about these things. There's just a lot of different things. But so this is like a carved path that Dick has brought the excavator down in through. And I think there was a time where we tried recording down here too, but we didn't really get much.
Couple different occasions.
One day you were coming behind me, but you were just farther back. Like, I was down and into this a lot earlier than you were. You were on the way. And I think I got probably, I don't know, another good 20 feet in, and something off to the left in the brush just like freaks out and starts booking it. It almost partially sounded like it was flying off, and I instantly just thought grouse, but it was louder than a grouse. And it sounded like, at first it sounded like fluttering, but then it sounded like something was breaking branches and like taking steps afterwards. And I did see, I mean, I saw like something, but I just couldn't fully make out a shape. But I would have thought I would have seen, you know, wings flapping, and I don't know what it was.
We should mention too, off to the right is an old pond. Maybe it's 100 yards by 100 yards. It's not huge. And then this is where Rich's game cam got stabbed.
That's right. So it's got activity. And this is also the direction that we captured. It's where I heard like a daytime Louisville slugger knock. That was like the first knock I ever heard in early or late spring, I think.
We haven't heard him hardly at all.
Yeah. Was it like
all winter.
No.
Spring's coming early, folks. It's not even the middle of February.
Little
and
buds.
Every bud has started to blossom. So it's not much to look at as far as tech. It's one wire right now, but the idea, that night before we heard the sound, I just went out, and I think we were too lazy to set it up, or maybe I was changing the batteries. I don't remember which.
You were changing the batteries.
We used to put double A's in here, but then we found this thing. All we do is plug this into this apparatus. I don't have the cord with me. And then it runs all night instead of only 6 or 7 hours. And so I set that in here. This was before this, now I think about it. And came back inside. I think it was probably, I don't know.
It was more like 1:30.
Yeah. I went inside, we're listening, and then it just sounds like all hell breaks loose at once, to the point it just sounds like chaos erupting close to the microphone. Maybe it sounds like brush, maybe it sounds like wood. It kind of sounds like Lincoln logs, right? Like, I don't know, it's weird. And it just erupts right here, and nothing's knocked over. And then we hear absolute bipedal running through here somewhere, either up, right, to where we have the apples, or past the car, or down that way. We have no idea because there's no tracks. And we hear this happening, and our mouths are just slack-jawed because...
Yeah, we both sit up in bed.
It's really the first time, aside from the voices, where we're sure there's like a human type guest running around, a shady neighbor, right? Because it's nothing else but slapping a bipedal feet, running really fast, but still like within the reason of like human-like. And then in Cottage Grove, that's what it sounded like. It sounded like a fast running human through the gravel.
I agree. I mean, we tried to, this is bad on my part, I should have saved these. We actually tried to recreate like running up this and going left and right to see if we could, because you hear as it runs, it sounds as if it banks around a corner.
Which would be about right there at the turn.
And so we test, and you can hear like a pitch change, or there's almost like a echo, or you know, it's running through almost something tunnel-like.
Yeah.
Like it just starts to, the sound begins to expand. And so when we tested it, to me it sounded more like it ran and banked to the right, which would be up towards the woods. So bad on my part for not saving that so we could share it with you guys. But
well, but to your point, somewhere around the 60-foot mark, right? If it's running at a 6-foot stance or something like that, it's like 10 steps and it's making an echo.
Yeah.
So it's banking here, banking there, or heading that way.
To be honest, I think what I still theorize that it was is like the tarp, because it almost has like a fabric-y sound.
We'll
or
play it,
like,
hit it.
like a, but it would have to be more taut somewhere with enough gap underneath to like really flail it. And it sounded as if it was hitting it with like a stick, like a dense branch is almost what, like wham, 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 is what it sounded like to me.
I mean, to the greater point, not to your point, is I was standing right here with it. Like it was here with me, less than I would suspect, less than 20 feet away from where I was. And there's no approach, right? I think that was the deal, is the battery had died.
Yes.
And so I came in because the speaker had stopped playing. So there was a window where the batteries weren't registering a recording, so it could have came in then. But just to know that you're right there with a sound that big, I don't think it was a tweaker. I don't think it was a homeless guy. I don't think it was anything other than what we caught on audio and what we caught on FLIR. The pieces are coming together, and that brings us to what happened with the apples up top.
Yeah.
Should we take them?
Yeah.
Well, as we're showing this though, so, you know, back here is where it occurred. And this all is hand cut by Dick over the years. I mean, it's an impressive amount of logs. Every day he's out here cutting. Like this is his, we can show him this. Dick is an old lumberjack. And here's his like leather face contraption to drop the logs. And then they roll down gravity fed and they come into the super splitter right here. And this is how we heat our houses, through the good nature of Dick's farming equipment. Here's some cedar for later. It's amazing. Okay, let's take them up to the night area. It's a little tough to see just given the lighting, but right here, you would agree it looks like the left heel and the left pinky toe and a big toe right up in there. It doesn't look like a boot. It's got quite a arch, really, in it.
Well, but let's show that footage of you and Rich trying to recreate it. That's what this impression is from. And I noticed it earlier, and that piece of charcoal down there.
It's not shaped like a shoe, shaped like a foot.
It's hard to see here, but there's like a size 9 or 10 here, and it looks like a naked foot right about.
Yeah, it's a narrower heel, and then that part's really
It's a pretty long heel. Look, it comes all the way down to there.
And that it kind of almost looks like toes could have dug in.
Well, more importantly, it doesn't have the outline.
Yeah.
Like that looks like a naked foot.
It's very defined.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's something. This would be the location we did the first whale sounds up here, and just let them play out over the pond.
Yeah. And then got our language. And there's a couple of times that through this section, we've definitely gotten like what looked like little stick glyphs as well.
So we're watching on FLIR right now something approach the apple basket over here, the apple bowl. It's just a little white thing skirting around while Allie's filming that. It's probably a good time to mention this is the week, February 13th, for returning members of Olympic Strange Days. Have a 24-hour window of getting first dibs at the tickets. The general public is on Valentine's morning, midnight, dark 30. And all you got to do is go to Olympic Strange Days, reserve your spot online, and then come on down on the 1st through the 3rd, technically the 4th, so 4 days, 3 nights in Beaver, Washington. And who do we have coming this year?
Simeon Hine, who's going to be teaching remote viewing. And then we have Maureen Morgan, who's going to be talking, she's a ufologist, ex-MUFON. She has some interesting new takes on kind of the Lady Marian apparition, but what she's going to be focusing on this year, because she kind of covered that last year. These ancient megaliths of the South Pacific, specifically
Marquesas.
the Marquesas, and they're so interesting, these statues. I mean, she's finding stuff that like ancient aliens decided, no, it's probably too difficult to really explain. So we're gonna move on to Easter Island, kind of a thing. Like, they're really odd.
Weird amount of detail.
They look more like little frog people or like goblins, and
Like you said, Kentucky Goblin.
that's what they're, because
Yeah.
they look like they're wearing goggles, and then
Yeah.
they have like these kind of frog lips, and it's just the shape of the heads.
Like half the women in Hollywood, you know what I mean?
Maureen Morgan, Simeon Hine. We're gonna have Brian Gagnon, a Macaw elder, who's gonna teach an intuitive native tracking class.
He was there last year, and I think he wants to teach like a 3-day intensive course on Native American tracking. So, like,
Yeah.
were we just talking about how you have to walk silently in order to be like a shaman hunter? And most people have no idea how to walk silently. Like, that makes you
Yeah.
not a good hunter.
Yeah.
And so, not a silent walker by any means. My boots squeak all the time. I don't know what Brian knows, but he's a Macaw. He is a legit Macaw elder. And so you're going to have a chance to pick a Native American elder's brain. And he's super relaxed about asking questions. You know, if you have questions from your point of view about what it's like to live on a reservation, be a Macaw elder, and he knows a thing or two about Sasquatch too. So,
He does.
and then who's the last person is?
Harvest Moon. I'm gonna let you tell that one.
So Harvest Moon is a Salish storyteller, and that should be of interest to most people that have only heard people tell stories behind a podium and talk about Sasquatch from a First Nations perspective. This is not Harvest Moon. Nuh-uh. Harvest Moon brings it. Like, she is a full-on, she is a storyteller.
Yeah.
And the size of the fire pit at OSD is like, what do you think? It's 9 feet by 5 feet wide. Last time we had Maureen Morgan at the head of the fire with everybody around her. It was so cool. It like took you back to your childhood of like hearing good ghost stories, but like with PowerPoints for Maureen, and I'm sure Harvest, she has costumes. And
She like changes the tone of her voice to like tell the story, and like she acts it out, like if between the different characters that she represents in the story. She's an impressive, like amazing storyteller.
yeah, it really, it pulls you in. So if you have a chance to see her at any time, even with us or without us, definitely check it out. Also on hand, again, just as a drop-in, is going to be either virtually or in person, the Resonance production team from A Flash of Beauty 3, which is called Origins. It's a 3-part series on Native American experience with Sasquatch, and so that seems kind of perfect, right? And also Voices in the Wilderness should be dropping by then. And then dropping by is going to be Kevin Carney again, who taught a tracking class, and he's just going to be hanging out, as well as Rich Germain, if hunting season allows. I think it will. I think it starts on the 4th, so I think he'll drop by too.
Yeah.
So we're just going to hang around the campfire and tell stories this time with some really cool people. Aside from like the night walks and maybe tracking, it's just going to be a lot of like, I don't know, good, intensive like fellowship, you know, of people that have stuff in common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, like, I know that some people are maybe a little hesitant because it's like an actual campground versus being, you know, out in the middle of the woods, deep, you know. But the thing is that specifically this campground, we chose it based off of activity that had been experienced there by friends and people we don't know that relate it to our friends. You know, seeing a Bigfoot, or what they thought at the time was actually just, they thought was a man, but ended up not being a man because they were the only 2 campers in that campground. watching these two women from a distance near the dumpster, and ended up finding like a track. And then last year at OSD, my mom, when she was still with us, she actually experienced letting her little dog out in the middle of the night, I think around 3 a.m. And she said that there was something bipedal walking towards her and the dog as soon as she opened up her door to let him out. And she thought it was a person, like one of us, and she called out and there was no answer, and it just stopped taking steps. But prior to her saying something, she fully expected a person to come out of the woods, and there wasn't an actual trail there. And then you got a text just while we were at Galactic Fest of new activity happening in that campground.
Yeah, I mean, I can read this text
It
here.
was a sighting, wasn't it?
All right, so this we got on January 31st at 11:53 a.m. I just got back from camping at the spot. Good amount of activity. Two of us in two different trailers had a partial sighting at 9 in the morning. At different angles, we both concluded it was about 15 feet away and easily a half a foot taller than me. And Kevin is probably about 6'5", 6'5"-ish. Loving this place more and more. After everybody left, they actually found a track behind Kevin's camper in the woods and ended up casting it. It kind of looked like the one in the...
Yeah.
So the point is that if you want to be a part of it, your opportunities, Valentine's Day for returning guests, it's the 13th at midnight up till Valentine's at 11:59, the hour before Valentine's at 11:59, and then the general public from midnight onwards. And when the tickets are gone, they're gone this time. So if you have a camper of under 25 feet, there's a spot for you. If you want to camp by the river and you need the sound of the babbling soul duck, there's a spot for you. There's actually beautiful spots that nobody even camped at last time, like tucked away in the woods. I don't know if they didn't know where they were, but...
And I think more are even being created, so there might be more options this year.